What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 43 of Hit the Books, the podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking in everything surrounding sports. This week, we got another set of our positional rankings here, going over our top 5 tight ends going into this season, as well as some other news in the NFL, some interesting news out of the free agency and the college hockey world there in the NHL, NBA, same thing. Free agency is off to a good start. Summer league here starting. If it did it start like last night or the other night? Uh,
It's been going for a couple nights. I haven't watched anything yet, but
yeah, but still a little early. But and then our usual power rankings and some news out of the MLB. Uh, but let's introduce my co-host here with me this week. Huff, what do you got for us here this week?
yeah, we're officially in the dog days of summer with the NHL and NBA free agency behind us. All the excitement that comes with that, guys moving teams, new face or same faces in different places, kind of thing with the free agency. Always love, especially NBA. I feel like those guys bounce around teams every season. NHL, you see a little bit more loyalty to the teams, but um, MLB's rolling along. Looking ahead to what we have is the All Star break, Home Run Derby, coming up this coming Monday, the 11th. I believe. No, the 11th is Friday. What day is the Home Run Derby?
Let me
You want
look
to
real
fact
quick.
check that? I know that's coming up. We can touch on that as well. I'll get that in the outline. But my boy O'Neal Cruz getting in the Derby. Acuna, I'm gonna have two horses in the race there. In Atlanta, whenever the Home Run Derby comes to us, I believe it's next week, early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that.
Uh, Good question. Hold on. The All Star game is on Saturday, and the home run derby
Next
is on
Saturday.
Sunday. Yes.
So the what, 18th?
Well, why is there two home run derbies?
What
That's a
is it?
different one. Hold on. This is
Let me
so
see.
confusing. This one is
MLB
on Sunday
2020.
Monday at 8 PM, excuse me, is the home run derby.
It's okay. Monday the 14th is the Derby. Tuesday the 15th is the All Star game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sporting events of the year. I'm very excited for the Derby. And I get, like I said, feel like I've been saying this for a couple weeks. They got to get O'Neal Cruz in the Derby. They actually did it. I didn't actually think that was going to happen, but I think I spoke that one into existence. Get a Pittsburgh Pirate repping in there. Skeens is going to be starting the All Star game. So the Pirates might not be the best team, but we have the players to field it. It's just they just can't put things together. But yeah, good week in sports overall. We're down to just baseball, golf. We got the fourth major coming up just next weekend. So a good week in the world of sports, despite being mid July.
Heck yeah, let's get right into it here. Let's start with the NHL. Gavin McKenna, the projected number one pick in the 2026 NHL draft, has committed to Penn State for the 2025-26 season. McKenna announced his decision to suit up for the Nittany Lions on Tuesday evening. McKenna is the biggest prospect to ever commit to Penn State hockey's program. Leading up to his decision, it was widely known McKenna would be taking his talents to the collegiate level before committing for the draft here next year. What are your thoughts on this one, Huff? I think it's a pretty interesting one. I'd love to go up to see a Penn State game. My brother already
Yeah,
said he wanted to go.
I've
I know
never
we've been talking
never
about it for
been. I
years.
definitely will be going this season. I think you could arguably say the biggest recruit in college hockey history. Arguably, I mean, Bedard didn't play. Like a lot of the stars that you're thinking of, they didn't even play college hockey. Sid,
Right.
McDavid, Ovechkin, none of those guys played college. Like the last, I'm thinking guy that could be in this class of saying like highly recruited would probably be Jack Eichel at Boston. When was that? 2018, maybe. It was the
Maybe,
same year as
yeah.
McDavid, maybe even 2015, I think McDavid was, because it went, McDavid, Eichel was 2 behind him. But I thought this was crazy. I thought there was no chance he was gonna go to Penn State, compared to some of those other schools. He said it was the best fit for him, and Penn State's getting an absolute superstar. They're already plus 400, the favorites to win the Frozen Four next year. I don't know much about Penn State's team around him, but I anticipate him to come in and have not 100 points, but pretty damn close to it. I saw a stat today. I think the last college player to have 100 points was Paul Correa at Maine. They're
Dang.
they're thinking McKenna could do that this year at Penn State. That would be absolutely electric. And obviously being so close to home, you being an alumni, that's got to be pretty sick to for your school to get literally the number one prospect in the world. I know it's for hockey, not football. Everyone, Penn State's definitely a football school, but they call it Hockey Valley for a reason. I think Penn State's going to be a team to reckon with next season.
Heck yeah. I'm super excited for this. This is definitely a high point. I mean, they were
How much have you noticed, like, not that you like look into this, but like I'm curious to see how much season tickets have changed and like all that kind of stuff.
I haven't seen any of that. And that's a really good question because I don't even
I
know if they're
guarantee the season
actually
tickets
on
went up
sale.
like
And I don't even
1.5.
know if they're actually on sale yet. Like, the way
Yeah,
they do
you know what I
season
mean?
tickets is
Yeah.
so whack. Like, they
Or
do
from
everything in
last
a
season to this
short
season, I'm
window.
interested to see the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, let me see if I can find something on that, but definitely lots of good stuff there out of Penn State. Would definitely be getting to a game for sure. And again, my brother said he wanted to go, so we'll definitely be looking into that. But let's jump into the NHL free agency here. It got underway, and we have been seeing a lot of familiar faces in new places. Nikolai Ehlers to the Hurricanes and Mitch Marner to the Vegas Golden Knights were the two biggest moves. Which teams do you think position themselves best to contend for a Stanley Cup next season, Huff?
I think these 2 teams to give you one East and one West. Obviously, everyone knows what Carolina's famous for, getting to the conference finals in the past couple of years. They haven't been able to get past Florida, for good reason. Florida's a back-to-back Cup champion. They've been to the Cup 3 years in a row. They lost to Vegas that first year when they lost. I think Carolina, some of the moves they've made, they've re-signed Stankoven, they bring in Ehlers. I'm blanking on some of these other moves they've made. I feel like they've been the most active team in free agency, kind of knowing that they're at that point where they can't get over the hump, they can't get past Florida. So they're just going to try to keep adding, 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 and hopefully sooner or later get over that hump of the Eastern Conference Finals and get this Hurricanes team to a Cup final. On the other side, Marner to Vegas. We were saying we thought it was going to be Vegas or LA. I like the move to go to Vegas. Obviously, get him with Eichel, Stone, a bunch of those other stars they already have in Vegas. I think Vegas has to be the favorite to come out of the West next year. I know the Oilers have gone to cups in back-to-back years to lose to the Panthers, but I think this Vegas team is rearing up to get back to where they were a few years ago as Cup champions. Like I said, over those Florida Panthers, but I wouldn't be shocked to see both of these teams being Carolina and Vegas in the conference finals next year. Probably Florida and Carolina again will get that rematch, and maybe Edmonton, Vegas, Dallas, Vegas. I think Vegas will definitely be there at the end of next season.
Yeah, you said it, but every time Vegas makes a move like this and they get a guy, and I'm not saying Marner's the piece for shits, but they are now in contention again. Not that they weren't in contention, but they're
Yeah,
now even
that's
more in
it.
contention than they
The
were. And
roster is just so good, and then you add a guy like Mitch Marner who gets you, what, 100 some points a season. I mean, you gotta I think they're definitely the favorites. I saw the odds still have the Oilers, which that interests me on putting a bet on Vegas to win the West. Hit on them a couple years ago. That wouldn't be bad to run that one back.
yeah, heck yeah. Huff, I see the prices. They haven't released for Penn State hockey season tickets. They haven't released
They
this
knew he was
year's yet.
committing. They were like, "Hold
Yeah,
this. Let's hold off on this."
but the tickets, like, they went up, like, looks like 12 to 15, $12 a piece between 23, 24 season, 24, 25 season.
So not like crazy, but
No, I mean, they go up with how things work. I mean, they're not that expensive as it is. I hate to say it. Like,
yeah.
nicest tickets, low seats are uh,
You can sit on
1,150
the glass for what, $100?
on the glass for whole season's $880.
Whole
18,
season.
yeah, 18 games.
How much? $800 for
Says
18 games? Is that what you said?
yeah, it says season ticket price, 18 home games, NLC contribution, total price, $879 for on the glass.
All right, 879 divided by 18. That is $48 a game to sit on the glass. That's crazy. Damn. I didn't know it was that cheap. I knew it was not expensive, but
I guess it's about the commitment, right?
yeah. They also usually college sports kinda upcharge the paid tickets because they give away so many free tickets to students to sell at the arena. So they kind of at least, like, that's how WVU basketball used to do it, I feel like. All the students get free tickets, and then anyone that's actually buying a ticket, you're paying, like, 25, $30 to go see a
Right,
game. Of
right,
course, that's basketball. Football is probably similar, but, I mean, football is gonna be expensive no matter whether they're giving free tickets away or not just because of the
right.
what it is.
Yeah, who knows how much tickets are gonna be this year, but we will definitely look at that. I'm very curious. Yeah, so NHL free agency is underway. Lots going on there. Anything that pops up, we'll definitely have to touch on. But we covered the gist of it here last week into this week. Let's jump over to the NBA here. A couple little points here. Oklahoma City Thunder star and NBA champion Chet Holmgren have agreed to a fully guaranteed 5-year maximum rookie contract extension that could reach $250 million. Agent Bill Duffy of WME Basketball told ESPN. Any thoughts on this one, Huff? Holmgren staying in Oklahoma City?
I mean, he's a great player. Obviously, just won helped OKC, clinch that finals. I just have a hard time. I know the money in the NBA is insane. I just have a hard time saying he's a $50 million a year player, um, compared to some of these other guys. But I understand it's when you get paid, not who you are. If the cap goes up, things like that. Some of these super max and max extensions these guys can sign. I know this wasn't. I think this was his maximum rookie deal that he qualified for. We saw SGA just get 71 million a year last week. So OKC is now tying up 122 say $1 million in two players. I don't know how you do that in a season and then put a team around them, but Sam Presti's done it before with this Thunder team, had them as contenders before last season. Most people have thought that's been a very good team. He's been known to put a good team together, but 120 million tied up in two players. I think that's going to be interesting long term to see how many times this Thunder team can, contend for that finals and put a full team around those two.
Yeah, it's a ton of money. Jeez,
120 million in two dudes.
that's wild.
It's
It's
disgusting. NBA money is disgusting.
well, definitely an interesting one there. We'll have to touch on that as time progresses. But here, the Orlando Magic have signed forward Paulo Banchero to a 5-year max contract that can be worth as much as 287.5 million. Can this Magic team be contenders in the East next season with this ad?
Contenders is tough. I like this team. There's a lot of injuries in the East. Everyone knows. Obviously, it's pretty wide open with, Tatum going down for the Celtics and a lot of these questionable moves that they've made. At least in my opinion, most of that championship team is, on their way out. They still have Tatum, Brown, Derek White, and they're still looking to move guys like Derek White. So who knows what this Celtics team is going to look like, come September 1st or October 1st, whenever the season starts. I think it's a little into October, but you get the point there. Pacers, same thing. Tyrese Halliburton out for the year. It's gonna really just the East is kind of Mackey's Knicks and the Cavs who have also reloaded. They were injured in the playoffs. No serious injuries, so most of those guys are going to be back. They're the Cavaliers are probably still going to be the favorite, I'd say, to come out of the East. If not, I guess you got to go with Mackey's Knicks. They got there last year, past the Cavs. Cavs get knocked out in the second round. Knicks show that they got over that hump to get to that conference finals. They hire Mike Brown to come in as head coach. They finally get their coach. I'm going to say the Magic definitely could be a top 4 seed in the East next year and win a playoff series. I would pick them to beat, a lot of those lower half Eastern Conference teams in the NBA. I think Banchero, they bring in Desmond Bain another year with the Wagner brothers down there. I like a couple of the other pieces they have on Orlando. They did lose out on KCP, who I thought was a big piece, but an aging veteran moving on from him, I think at the right time to bring in a good piece to pair with your stars in Desmond Bain. But I think this Magic team is going to be very fun to watch. I think you'll be hearing them play the song a lot next year, and I could see them be even a top 3 seed. They could be right behind the Knicks and Cavs.
So the Eastern Conference champion odds right now, Cavs sitting at plus 275, Knicks right behind them at plus 300, Magic right behind them at plus 400, and then a big jump to
It would
850
be
for
plus
Cleveland Hawks.
400.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's pretty tight in those first three, and then it's a big jump to
What were the Cavs plus?
275.
That's not bad at all. You literally could take all three of those teams and make money, right? No. 270, you'd have to be plus no, yeah, plus 275.
You'd be chances of losing like $25
Yeah,
if you for one unit.
if the Cavs win, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad strategy. If you put a decent amount of money on it, I guarantee you probably one of those 3 teams will do it. I don't think Indiana
Right.
will do it next year without Tyrese Halliburton. The Celtics, I think, are on a rebuild year, not necessarily rebuild, but more reload. They have the stars, they have the guys, they're just dealing with the injury bug, but I like any of those 3 teams. Orlando, I'd like a little more value on them, but plus 400, maybe Vegas knows something I don't.
We will have to see. We'll be definitely touching more on the odds in the NBA as well as the NHL here as we approach those seasons here come, September, 2 months away. Jeez. But with that, we got the NBA free agency also underway here. Tons of movement from team to team. A few moves worth noting are Colin Sexton to the Hornets, DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell to the Mavs, and Miles Turner to the Bucks. What move in free agency did you like the best so far, Huff? What are you thinking?
I think the Lakers going to finally get their big man and DeAndre Ayton is probably at least one of the key pieces of the NBA offseason for me so far. You have guys like Luca, LeBron, everyone knows, the duo that they have out there. You get the big and DeAndre Ayton, the number one overall pick. The year Luca was picked, um, Ayton said, he's real excited to play with Luca, excited to be on the same side as him and not have to go against him. I think that big three, you had Reeves in there, a couple more pieces on that Lakers team. Their bench could use some work, in my opinion, for depth, but I think they re-signed Jackson Hayes as another depth big player or big man. But I like what the Lakers are doing. I'm probably going to put another future on them. I'm going to bite the bullet and do it. I feel like it's a public play, but I think I just think LeBron's getting one more before he retires, whether it's this year, next year, if he goes back to Cleveland, if he goes back to Cleveland now, wherever he's going to go, wherever it's at. If he goes to a contender, I think I'll be sprinkling them to win it all. I like the Lakers here. That is my favorite move. I think DeAndre Ayton's he did his job with Phoenix. Was it helped lead them to not lead them, but helped that team get to a finals against Milwaukee. He kind of not many people have heard of him since he went to Portland, but now that he's under the bright lights, and I'm still going to call it Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, whatever you want to call it. But
I don't even know what
I
it
think
is.
DeAndre Ayton's in for a big season in 2024, 2025, or 2025, 26. Sorry.
Heck yeah. Like we keep saying, the NBA and NHL free agencies are underway. We'll make sure to touch on any of the big points that pop up here in the next coming weeks. Um, but with that, that's all we got in the NBA here this week. I think that's all I had. Yeah, that's all we got. Let's jump over to the MLB here with our power rankings here. Um, Coming in at number 5, we have the Toronto Blue Jays. Number 4, the Houston Astros. Number 3, the Chicago Cubs. Number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And number 1, those Detroit Tigers, just holding strong up there. What are your thoughts on our power rankings here for this week, Huff? Coming into All-Star break here shortly.
Yeah, I believe before today, the Blue Jays did lose today. They were on a 10-game heater. They're now in first place in the American League East. They passed up the Yankees. They passed up the Rays. Not many people anticipated this Blue Jays team to be in this spot, sitting at 54-39. They were floating around 500. You rip off that 10-game win streak. They're now sitting 3 games in front of the Yankees, 4.5 in front of the Rays, 6 in front of the Red Sox, 12.5 in front of the Orioles. That division's pretty much, in my opinion, now you throw Toronto in that mix. I didn't even think Tampa Bay. Obviously, everyone picked the Yankees to win the division. I think the Yankees still will win this division. I think Toronto could be a wild card team. I also think Tampa Bay could be a wild card team. There's 3 really good teams in that American League East that have been putting up a fight. I like what Toronto's doing. Obviously, towards the top, you still have your Tigers doing what they're doing. The Dodgers looks like they got their swagger back, but they've obviously lost 6 straight. I'm more saying like a week or two ago. They caught that stride when Otani came back. They've been struggling of late, but um, Cubs, another team I want to touch on, sitting at 54 wins with 37 losses, 6-4 in their last 10. I'm big on this Cubs team. They get Imanaga back. He just took a loss the other day. I believe it was to Minnesota or St. Louis. I can't remember which game it was. But I like this Cubs team. They have a decent schedule coming up. That's against some tough opponents. They go to New York, home against the Red Sox, and then home against the Royals, and then a pretty light schedule to end the month. But I'm interested to see what this team can do against a Yankees. They have a 3-game skid coming up against them this weekend. So a lot of good teams in the MLB right now. Towards the top of that, it's kind of getting pretty spaced out between contenders and not, which it usually does at this time of year. Obviously, around the All-Star break, the halfway point, you can kind of get a good idea which of these teams are you're going to be seeing contending towards the end of September and into early October for the wild card and playoffs. But um, yeah, it's been a good week in the MLB. Obviously, we get the All-Star break coming up here. We could touch on the Derby. Man, I don't know if the odds are posted yet, but that's
I
one
don't
event I
see
always
anything.
definitely can find that.
Yeah, I don't see anything for the Derby yet. At least on MGM here.
MGM's always the last to post shit like that. Let me check like DraftKings. I feel like they'll always have that stuff really. Let's see, because the five. I mean, I don't know if I don't think it's only 5 people. I think they're still waiting on people to be announced. That's probably why the odds aren't out yet because there's only 5 people confirmed. Um, it is Ronald Acuna, O'Neal Cruz, Cal Raleigh, James Wood, and Byron Buxton are all confirmed for it. That list of 5, like I said, the 2 I'm pulling for. I love Cal Raleigh, and he's leading the MLB. I almost just said NHL. He's leading the MLB in home runs. 36 right now. He's, pushing his 6 games to go before the All-Star break. Is a game tonight in Yankee Stadium. With if he gets 3 more home runs in the next 6 games, he ties Barry Bonds' record for the most home runs before the All-Star break. Let alone, by a catcher. He's pushing Judge for that AL MVP. I don't know what the odds look at, but Judge and Raleigh, like I said, they're playing each other in this series right now. These two guys are getting a good up close look at each other. But I saw the clip of Raleigh was catching. I think it was yesterday. Or I assume it was yesterday. Whenever these teams started playing each other, with today being or it was probably Monday. Sorry, Monday or Tuesday when these two teams were playing each other. It was Mariners Yankees. Raleigh was catching, Judge was hitting. Judge hits a home run, and the camera just zooms in on Raleigh, and it's like watching him. And it's like,
That's
yeah, that's
awesome.
the dude you're chasing. But meanwhile, Raleigh comes up 2 innings later, hits a dinger. He's still sitting 3 in front of him. Otani's a little behind both of them at 31. So the American League home run race is obviously heating up with Raleigh and Judge. I love the Yankees and love Judge. I really like Cal Raleigh, and I'd just love to see that story for the big dumper up there in Seattle for him to possibly get an AL MVP. I think that'd be electric.
What do you think Judge's
Even if he
odds
doesn't
are?
get the MVP, I want him to beat him in home runs. But what were you saying?
What do you think Judge's odds are for AL MVP right now?
The way you say it, I'd say like plus 150
Minus 1,400.
for AL MVP.
Yeah. Cal Raleigh plus 500. And then
Holy
everyone else is
shit!
10,000 or above.
Damn,
And then it's very similar on the National League side with
1,400.
Ohtani's minus 1,400.
It shouldn't be that determined yet. Like
That's
Raleigh's.
deep.
I know home runs isn't the only stat, and that's like kind of the only thing I'm basing it off. Like I don't know. Let me see. Let me
Let
look
me
at
look elsewhere because that's so crazy.
That's crazy odds. Let me see. All right, Judge is batting 360. That's part of it.
Okay, that's
Raleigh's
crazy.
leading in home runs. He has 2 more home runs than him. Judge has 34. Raleigh is second in RBIs at 76, with Judge in third at 75. Um, Stolen bases. Neither of them do that. So he's beating him in RBIs and home runs, and you're telling me Judge is minus
It's
1,400?
same on DraftKings. Judge minus 1,400, Cal Raleigh plus 600. You get a little better juice with Cal Raleigh, but
Holy shit! Let me see if I can find what he's batting. Like, unless his average is like
junk.
so bad, yeah, like so bad that it doesn't even make sense. But like Cal Raw 268. I mean, he's still batting over 250. Soto's batting 268. Like 268 is not bad in the MLB. I don't know. That's crazy to me. He's just got to keep hitting dingers. Then he's got to beat him by like 10 home runs, and then maybe they'll give it to him.
Yeah. Jeez.
I do think for the next like 5 years, it's Judge's and Otani's award to
Yeah.
lose every year, which is annoying, but I don't know.
They're pretty darn good at what they
I
do.
like both of them. I just hate seeing the same guys win the MVP every year. It's
Yeah,
kinda
I
like what we
agree.
do, but also people complain about it in the other way where it's like in the NBA, everyone loves to say LeBron could get the MVP every year, but they're not gonna give it to him every year. They're gonna give it to Jokic, or they wanna see a new face. It's like, no, we know who the MVP was. You just decided to give it to, SGA or whoever it was. I know SGA won this year. I did think he was the MVP, but um, you know what I'm saying? Like when they try to give it to different people instead of the same guy every year, the MLB is truly like, we do not care if this guy wins the award 6 years in a row.
Right. He's truly the best.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care. He's the best player. You gotta come and catch him. That's Raleigh's catching him in home run. I can't believe he's beating him in RBIs and home runs, and the odds are that different. But it's because he's only 2 home runs and 1 RBI. Like Judge could have 1 2 home run day and pass him in both.
True. All right, here we go. One more point out of the MLB. The San Francisco Giants beat the Philadelphia Phillies with a long fly ball, a bad bounce,
This was
and
crazy. I saw this
catcher's
morning.
legs with one. Yeah, this is wild. With one out and runners at the corners in the bottom of the ninth inning, Giants catcher Patrick Bailey hit a walk-off 3-run inside the park homer in a 4-3 win Tuesday night. The ball looked like it would end the game in a simpler way, flying over the wall in right center, but the cavernous right field dimensions of Oracle Park kept the ball in play. Very interesting. I watched this a couple times and I was like, "What the heck?"
Did
Like,
you
just
also see that with this, yesterday was the first day since 1900 that there was 2 inside the park home runs, one being a leadoff and one being a walk-off. So the Lawrence Butler on the Athletics hit a leadoff inside the park home run, and then later that night, this happened to end the slate.
that's sweet. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. There was 2 inside the
Dang,
parkers yesterday.
that's cool.
But
That's
this was
wild.
definitely the cooler one because it was a walk-off.
Right,
The A's
but
won, like, 10-1. It didn't even have really an effect on the game. This was a three-run walk-off on an inside the park to win by 1. They were down
yeah,
3-1 before that hit even happened.
that's crazy.
That was I saw a lot of people were on the Phillies last night. That would be the worst way to lose a baseball bet.
Right.
The worst way.
Jeez.
I always thought it sucks losing on a walk-off home run. No, it sucks losing on a walk-off inside the park home run because the entire time you're like, "Just fucking throw it, throw it, throw it," and the dude couldn't get to the ball. The way that ball ricocheted off of that wall, I think it picked up speed.
Yeah,
Like, it was going faster off the wall than it was off the bat, which
that's
wouldn't
crazy to
surprise
think
me.
about.
It was crazy.
Yeah, definitely some wild stuff. I did not know that other inside the park home run happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I saw one. I mean, maybe in a once in a blue moon, like every like
Actually watching a game, I haven't seen it in a while,
right,
if ever, honestly.
fair.
Like, I feel like that's something I always just catch on a highlight. Like, I can't tell you. I mean, unless it's happened to the Pirates, I don't really know.
Uh,
I at least
true.
if I've ever seen it, it's not jumping off the page to me, and I don't remember it. That one I'll probably remember. That's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, I hear that. Alrighty, lots of good stuff out of the MLB. Like we said, the All-Star Game, Home Run Derby happening here in just what do we say, like a week or two, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So lots to look forward to for that. We'll definitely go over odds for that here probably next week. Um,
No, the Derby?
yeah,
Derby's Monday.
like 6 days from now, Monday
Yeah,
or 5 days from now. Oh, my
yeah.
bad.
It's before the next time we record. I'll get some posts out there. You'll see. You'll know my picks. I'll post all my picks for it.
Alrighty, lots of good stuff there. Let's jump back to the NFL here, starting out with our positional rankings here. Top five tight ends going into this season. I believe Ace sent.
He did send his. I'm looking at it. I can read it. So Ace's top 5 tight ends coming into the 2025 season. I'll go 5-1. He has Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions at number 5, Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs at 4, Trey McBride of the Arizona Cardinals at number 3, George Kittle of the 49ers at 2, fresh off a new contract extension, and Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders at number 1. It's a pretty solid list. I think he even said it's a pretty easy position. I don't think there's much debate here. He said there's guys on the outside like Hawkinson, Njoku, Goddard. He said Hunter Henry. I mean, that's the most Patriots thing I've ever heard of, but no one is going to put Hunter Henry anywhere near. I don't even think the top 10, let alone top 5, but had to call that one out. I saw Hunter Henry gets his name snuck in there. I thought that was insane.
What do you
But
think he is on the PFF list?
probably 17th, 18th,
You're
19th.
so close, 16th.
Yeah, literally, like, not even close to top not even top 15. Where's Freiermuth? 17. He has to be in front of
Twen
Hunter Henry. 15.
22.
Wow, that's crazy. Hunter Henry's been doing it for longer. He has been good. Not as much for the Patriots. He was good for
It's
the Steelers.
because, I mean, his rating's just low because he doesn't get
He doesn't
ball.
get the usage. He's more like
Yeah.
an actual tight end, yeah. My list, I'm gonna go kinda off the dome here. Mine's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna go 1 to 5. My number 1, I am gonna also go with Brock Bowers. I think, being the young guy coming into the NFL, a lot of these guys are, at least the tight end community has the lookout for Brock Bowers. They think he's the next great one. Number 2, I'm still gonna give the respect to Travis Kelce over there in Kansas City. All the Super Bowls, everything he's done, I still think him and Mahomes are gonna have a big year this year, especially the revenge year coming off losing in the Super Bowl. I was listening to New Heights the other day. He's talking about how he can't wait to get back on the field. Can't wait, being a tight end university last week made him want to get back on the field. I think Kelsey is going to have a huge year, especially after last year. Everyone kind of writ him off. A lot of people saying he's old, he's over the hill. I think Kelsey's still the number 1 or number 2 tight end going into next season. Actually, fuck it. I just talked myself into it. Kelsey's number 1, Brock Bowers number 2, Sam Laporta. I'm going to go at 3 of the Detroit Lions. Kittle at 4, and Trey McBride at 5. I just have to see a little bit more from McBride. I know he's had some crazy stat line games. I just don't think much of that Cardinals offense to put him into it. And, I know you could say the same thing about Brock Bowers in Vegas, but him getting Geno Smith, Ashton Genty in the backfield to, take off some pressure of that passing game in Vegas. That's going to be my list. Kelsey 1, Bowers 2, Laporta 3, Kittle 4, McBride 5. Mackie did not send a list.
Mackie didn't know it's on a list. Okay. I do have a list here. Mine's a little different. Like for me, Travis Kelsey doesn't make my top 5, but he's right outside. Um, I don't know. He just he hasn't impressed me.
It's going into next season, so, like, he was
Correct.
what, 40, 37?
Yes, right. So at number 1, I have George Kittle. 2, I have Brock Bowers. 3, Trey McBride. 4, Mark Andrews, and 5, Sam Laporta. And then like Hawkinson right outside with Kelsey right outside. I mean, like Goddard right outside. I could name
Yeah,
10 more
probably 5
people.
more that could all be
Yeah,
right there, yeah.
it's a tough market to put 5 in.
There's, like I was gonna say, there's really, like, 6 or 7 names you could throw in this top 5 in really any order, especially right now with, like I mean, 3 years ago, it was Kelsey, Kittle, and then everyone else. Now it's so a lot of the guys are catching up to those 2, especially with age.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there out of the NFL. Next week, we have our O-line groups here for our positional rankings. So lots of good stuff here. Pass rushers, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties, kickers, top 5 teams. Lots of good stuff here. Love covering these positional rankings. They're actually lots of fun. We got one more point here out of the NFL. The Washington Commanders will sport a different but very similar look in 2025, unveiling a new alternate uniform for the upcoming season. They'll take their title star fans back to the Joe Gibbs glory days. They will wear these alternate uniforms week 9 versus Seattle, week 13 versus Denver, and week 17 versus Dallas on Christmas. I put one picture in there, Huff, and then the link is a more detailed picture. Um, I think they're kind of cool. Nothing
Yeah,
too
they look
crazy.
exactly like the Redskins when we were in high school.
Yeah,
They're literally the Redskins jerseys with a different helmet or a different logo on the helmet. Um, I like them. I think they're obviously, I like the teams that go back to the kinda old age, new age, however you wanna call it. A lot of these teams are going back to the classic look. Obviously, I love the Steelers' 3rd jersey with the block numbers. That's like the '80s, '90 or '80s,
such a good
'70s
one.
Steelers with the gray face mask. Now you see Washington going back to, their like you said, the glory days of when they won the Super Bowl. This is what they were wearing. I thought these were their true away jerseys.
I
So
did too when I first saw it.
I was looking around trying to find, like, the red one because I always liked the Redskins jerseys and couldn't find it, and then I found out this is a 3rd jersey. I'm like, 1, I don't like when they use white for a 3rd jersey because you wear
Yeah,
it on the road mostly, I feel like.
right.
Um, 2, just make this your original jersey. Like, just get away the Commanders were just voted having the worst uniforms in the football, the ones they were last year,
Yeah,
which, again, I don't think those are that bad. I think Jacksonville by far has the worst uniforms in the NFL. I think
I
their
agree.
colors
The
are
colors, I
terrible.
agree.
But the I would just make a red jersey of this, make this your new home one, and just make a black jersey as your 3rd jersey or something. They used
I
to wear
agree.
black, like, do something as a 3rd jersey. This shouldn't be a 3rd jersey, but I do really like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Definitely, definitely cool. Definitely, like you said, going back to.
I don't know what I did to this picture in our outline, but I, like, duplicated Jaden Daniels on there, and it won't let me get rid of it. Not that it matters, but if you look at it, there's now
Oh
2
my
J
god, you
I, like,
did.
held my finger over it, next thing you know, there was 2 Jaden Daniels there.
Yeah, I really like these. They're clean.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think those will look again, I'm just gonna keep saying it. They gotta I feel like in the next 5 years, these are gonna be their original jerseys, and then next year, they're just gonna come out with a red one. They should do a yellow jersey.
I kind of agree.
Like, red is your home, white is your away, yellow is your 3rd
Yellow's your
jersey.
alternate. That'd be cool.
With, like, the maroon pants and a maroon helmet, I feel like it might look like too much, but or like a create a player or create a team uniform, but
Yeah.
there's been worse in the NFL.
I agree. Alrighty. I think that's about everything we got here this week. Lots to look forward to. NHL free agency, NBA free agency, NBA summer league, MLB home run derby, All Star game, NFL news. Anything else to add before we get out of here? Off.
No, yeah, a little bit shorter of an episode, not as much going on in the sports world. We're looking ahead, like we said, home run derby on Monday, All-Star game Tuesday. I'll be sure to get my official picks out for the derby on Monday. So make sure you're staying tuned. HitTheBooks.pod on Instagram, HitTheBooks_pod on Twitter, HitTheBooks Sports on TikTok and YouTube. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct. Hit the Book Sports on TikTok and YouTube. Go give us a follow. Had to restart the TikTok, so we appreciate it if you could go make sure you are following us. Even if you think you are, go double check. We appreciate it. Like we said, good sports coming up. The U.S. or I'm gonna say the U.S. Open, the Open next week in the world of golf. Next weekend over at Portrush. Um, yeah, not much going on other than baseball right now. We have football this month. At the end of the month, we have the Hall of Fame game, July 31st. So we are less than a month away from football, maybe 3 weeks away from football. And by that point, I feel like we'll be ready to talk about even a preseason line on an NFL game rather than sit here and talk baseball all summer. But Football's so close. We are so close to the NFL season. This is the hard part of summer to get through. Once July 4th passes, once the free agency passes, when you're truly just baseball, the last thing you have to look forward to is the home run derby and then the NFL season. So once Monday, Tuesday pass, it's all eyes on football at the end of the month. But like I said, give us a follow, hit the books.pod. We appreciate you listening. Leave us a like, follow, share, subscribe. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys this weekend. We'll get some picks out there for you for some MLB games.
Awesome. See you guys next time.